All right, good evening, everyone. I am Jamie Shopland, Chair of the Special Education Systems Advisory Committee, and it is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order this evening. And we will get started with some general remarks and updates. So it's been a couple months since we had the opportunity to see one another because the weather got in the way of the last two public meetings. So it's great to see you all here this evening, and I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that helped bring to fruition the resource fair this past weekend. It was really a tremendous amount of energy and publicity, and we heard nothing but positive praise from folks who were there at the event, and that is our signature event, and it just continues to grow and inspire every year and bring a diversity of vendors. So Tara, thank you so much. All of the events subcommittee members, the communications subcommittee members, and everybody who helped volunteer with set up the evening before. So really appreciate all the energy that went into that. There are a lot of updates that we want to share with you that we'll get into as later parts of the agenda, especially as part of the subcommittee reports around the legislative and policy initiatives that are happening in Annapolis and elsewhere, so more to come on that. But we do have a new member who is joining us this evening, Emily. So Emily, we're really delighted to have you. She's with Parks and Rec of the city, and that is a much needed perspective on our committee, and I'm really thrilled to have her join us as a new member. So welcome, Emily.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to also share a couple of updates. So I do want to acknowledge the county executive and county government who also helped celebrate World Down Syndrome Day over the weekend by coloring the government building yellow and blue. So thank you to the county executive for that. And then we also wore crazy socks over the weekend at the resource fair to also represent World Down Syndrome Day and also with our friends, partners who help us put the CCAC fair on every year. But we do have a host of other observances related to disability awareness that you can see up here on the screen. So one that's near and dear to my heart as a mom of a CP warrior is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month in March, and then a host of other awareness opportunities as well as different disabilities out there in the community. So let's make sure that we're being aware of these and lifting up these communities where we can. And I also, we haven't had an opportunity, I don't think, to properly welcome our new Board of Education liaison member, Janie Monnier, and we're delighted to have her here as the voice of the Board of Education and to take back to the board things that we might wish to share with the board, and we look for her to bring things that we might want to know that is happening over in the Board of Education as well, so that we can continue to work collaboratively to support students with disabilities. So, welcome, thank you. All right, and we do want to go ahead and approve the minutes from November 17th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Zoe to approve the November 17th, 2025 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. O'Neill. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Are you raising your hand?
18 in favor of approving the minutes. Any nays? Any abstentions? With that, the motion carries. Moving on. So we will turn it over to Board Member Monnier to share any updates from the Board of Education.
A microphone I don't actually have to press the button to use. Okay, so thank you so much for having me here. It's truly an honor to be able to be the liaison for the Special Education Systems Advisory Committee. The work that you do here is so essential to ensuring that we have equitable access to all of the resources that our children may need, no matter where they are in their life. And as the daughter of 2 parents with disabilities, I understand just from that perspective how important it is how we nurture our children and how we nurture our children as a community, not just as a family, but as a school and as a community as well. So I am very honored and grateful to be here as a liaison. And I'm going to say, as I had mentioned to Dr. Beekman at one point, please give me action items. I am here to do that. So, we have meetings, on Wednesday, and sometimes I'm left like, I really would like an action item. So tell me what I can do either as an advocate or if there's other policies or things you think, you have a question about, or if you want me to help you connect with somebody at FCPS. I know we have Dr. Beekman here and Troy Keller and Katie Buckley are amazing folks as well. So anything I can do to help you guys, that's what I'm here to do. And in that regard, Policy Committee on Wednesday, we're going to be taking a look at Policy 509. And if 509 includes the corollary athletic programs, so when it comes to our programs that are athletic for our special education students, maybe happening in and out of classes. And one of the things we're looking at with that entire extracurricular, co-curricular, and other curricular activities is just equitable access to places. So if you want to take a look, this is our first time we're going to be discussing it. So I don't have anything more to say than just to take a look, see what you think of it as it currently stands, what things you think we should improve or take another look at, and then I can take that back to the policy committee. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Anything you want to share in terms of the status of the budget and where we are in that process?
I wish we were talking about the budget again this Wednesday, but we are waiting on the county executive to give us her status on the budget, and then this whole thing starts over again. So currently, as it stands, it's on the April 22nd budget. FY27 is at that meeting. So pay attention to that. If for some reason, I don't know, another storm happens, please do not. That the county executive is delayed in giving her budget, then it would be May, but I don't see that happening. It would be April 22nd.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Board Member Meunier? All right, with that, we will turn it over to Department of Special Education Directors for updates.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you. It seems like forever. I did want to start just by giving a little highlight to our special education parent listening sessions that were held throughout the months of February and March. We were very fortunate. We didn't have any winter weather closings during those events. But I am also happy to report that we had 11 families attend the 5 different sessions. So although a small number, the voice made a large impact to every administrator, school staff member, and central office staff member that was able to attend. So that was the best part. We're going to analyze the themes that we heard within those 11 families that did speak. But just thank you for all of your encouragement to have families attend. We really do want to hear the family voice. I think we've taken into consideration the 5 o'clock time period might be difficult for families to attend, although I will be very honest, I'm not sure what time is appropriate for that to happen, because just speaking of my own life, 5, 6, 7, 8, none of those times seem to be appropriate. So anybody has suggestions, we are more than welcome. Or we welcome those suggestions. And then we also talked about the Google Meet link not being as easily accessible as we would like. Typically when we send Google Meet links, it's through a calendar appointment and somebody can just click. And in this situation for the parent virtual sessions, you actually had to go back and retype or re-remember that code. And that's a lot. So again, we are open to suggestions on how to make that better. But we did have 11 families from all the different feeders. Again, we had 5 sessions, and our Frederick High School feeder had the biggest turnout of 5 families during that time. So nothing should surprise you. Communication, transparency, honesty, being a part of the process, all of those things came to light during those sessions. A lot of gratitude as well. A lot of gratitude for our Partners for Success staff, which is wonderful. They appreciate the trainings that they offer and the supports. And then a lot of people too have good relationships with their schools, and that's really important to hear. So an amazing turnout for the first time out, and we're looking forward to doing things better and more next year.
Good evening, everyone. So a couple of other updates that Katie and I bring tonight is all of our files from EdPlan are actually now available as a parent. You can access all of your child's historical records under the portal. And so if you have any questions, need one-on-one support, I'm happy to help after tonight's meeting. Another update is we shared with this a couple months ago about how we're rolling out a new professional learning plan for our transportation staff. And so we have now completed all 3 levels of training at this point, and with the good news that we've gotten a lot of receptive feedback from transportation, even trying to now integrate some of those actually drivers into the training so that they can share stories and things that they've learned to help support our students. And so we actually are already prepping for next school year with our supervisor of behavior analysts and our coordinator for behavior supports and compliance, and partnering with Ken Wells in transportation. Another thing is thank you so much last year for your involvement for our parent survey. It is out. I'm sure you've seen it going out. We actually, because of your support here at CCAC, we were able to get not only the appropriate number of responses from both our pre-K families as well as our school-age families, we also saw that we had an increase in favorable responses, which means in return that FCPS does not have corrective action when that happens. So please continue to shout out that for all families that have students with IEPs, they can go to mdparentsurvey.com. It's available through June 5th, so we do want that feedback. We do like to read the comments, and so it's great to hear that from our families. And then I'm going to pass it over to Katie to wrap up with Student Support Action Plan and ESY parent information.
Those are just ongoing links that we keep there, so you have access to our current documents, where we're moving as a department. So that's the action plan link there. You'll see all of the historical reports. We will update that probably over the summer. Again, for the beginning of the school year release is kind of how we manage that this year. But all of that information is housed on our website, from the start of the PCG audit to the beginning of our action plan to then our progress on that action plan. And ESY is going to be here before we know it, so we're excited to start that journey. I don't think there's any days between the end of the school year and the start of ESY, but that is coming. That'll be in June. And we did upgrade that website and got your feedback in regards to what would be beneficial for families versus which would be too overwhelming. So that is there on our public-facing website as well. And then just some reminders, we've had a couple of BOE sessions since we've last been here. One of my favorites personally is transition, and we're lucky to have Mary Kate serve on the CCAT committee as well. She's our teacher specialist for transition. And then we've also done one on behavior supports and professional learning, and then of course Ed Plan, IEP, and 504 updates. So again, thank you to everyone for all of your willingness to give us feedback and to help us grow. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we will definitely continue to help push out the parent involvement survey, so we know that how important that is, and we're happy to hear that we were able to help effectively support that. And I just personally, the ESY information is tremendous, because when I was first getting exposed to that for my daughter, it was non-existent anywhere, and so that is a huge improvement. But do we have any questions for directors this evening? Go ahead, Rania.
I just have a question about the meeting notes. Hang on. This is causing a lot of echo. Let me redo this. I have a question about the meeting notes provided for IEPs. Is it okay? Did that stop because of Ed Plan? I had our daughter's first IEP meeting without those meeting notes, and I can tell you I really missed them. So I didn't know if there's any ability to bring that back into the fold.
Yeah, so I'm happy to answer that. So it was really a streamline of when we opened up Ed Plan. It was not a result of Ed Plan. It was more of what are things that we can do to ensure that our administrators are providing streamlined information to our families. We understand that the notes in some instances was very helpful, but also there were situations where we were concerned about one thing may be documented in an IEP, one thing be in a PWN, and one thing really be in the minutes. And the heart of an IEP, really, everything should be there. One of the things that we actually are doing, we're taking the feedback that we received from families, and we are going to have a required PL this summer for all of our administrators on prior written notice. Because to that point, there is more information that you can provide in the prior written notice that really alludes to even the minutes of what occurred during the IEP meeting. So we have taken that feedback, and we're cognizant of how we can improve and do better for our families.
Okay, great. Yeah, I felt like it really helped us realize that we were on the same page, or if we were, we expected something different than the team. So it was really helpful for us.
And I think the prior written notice is the legal document that is supposed to capture any of the next actions and, create that alignment and understanding. And if you have the meeting notes separately, that might, that's not a legally enforceable document, right?
Correct. And we're happy, if we want to ever do like a little mini training, even just for CCAC on really the purpose of PWN. So even for parents here, that's the meetings that will help you kind of help be able to explain some of that information. And the other thing that we have offered this year is to reinforce, you can always request as a parent to have your IEP recorded so that you have that available as well, and we will definitely record it for you. The school team will take care of that.
Thank you, Director Keller. Any other questions? I see Tara has a question.
I just wanted to follow up. As a parent who experiences IEPs at multiple schools, the prior written notice, I can see the difference in the experience, but the best prior written notice I've had this year really captured all the thoughts, and I would encourage parents to say, I would like this note included in the prior written notice, because you can ask for that as well. And I've done that in my meetings, and it's been very successful. I just pass that along as a tip.
Thank you, Tara. Any other questions or comments for the director?
God bless you.
Okay. So with that, we will move on, and we do not have Brooke here this evening to, let's go on to, Partners for Success updates. Over to you, Lisa and Grace.
Our stuff is on that same page as the directors. Just scroll down a little bit, yes.
Yeah, make sure you're using the mic so that everybody can hear, please. Thank you.
So as we've shared, it's been a couple of months, so we've had quite a few workshops and sensory-friendly events with families. We've had 2 open gyms at the Pediatric Movement Center, and those were pretty much 100% attended. Families loved those open gyms, and it was a good opportunity for them. We did a pre-K tour, and we did collaborate with Infants and Toddlers and Child Find, and that was a very, highly loved event. The parents were very grateful for the opportunity to view a pre-K classroom and just ask those daunting questions that every parent has as they're first entering the school system, especially with entering K-3. So that was a good opportunity, and we will be doing another one in May as well, as it was really highly requested with families. Another workshop that we did was the Series 3 of our IEP series, and that was on ESY and summer alternatives. And the feedback that we got from that workshop was really great, as well as we can come to realize that a lot of parents had different understandings of what ESY is and what it's meant for, so it was good clarification on the parents' part and on staff part to really make sure that we're sharing exactly what it is for parents to know what exactly it's looking like during the summertime. So it was a really good workshop as well. And then we had behavior workshop that had just passed, and that was very well attended and well liked. And that one we'll continue to do with Lauren Eulander, and she's one of the behavior analysts here, and she is wonderful. She has wonderful information to share. She's always ready to answer questions on behaviors, whether it's at home behaviors, at school behaviors. She really does know her stuff and gives a really good workshop. So I'm really grateful to her that she did that. CCAC Fair was very fun. So that was well attended, and to see all the resources come out this year and how much it's grown in the last 3 resource fairs that I've been attending as well, like it's grown so much, so that was cool to see. And then we have a lot coming up as it's coming to the end of the year and finishing out our grant, and then also writing out our new grant for next year. So that's all kind of wrapping together at the same time. But we have a lot of sensory-friendly events coming up for families. So we'll have a sensory-friendly movie this week on Thursday. And then we are participating in the Transition Youth Fair this Saturday as well. So if you guys are coming to that, if you have students who are transitioning, I think it will be also a wonderful opportunity for them and for the parents. And then we have a highly requested Appendix A workshop. We've had lots of parents come to us about just questions about Appendix A, and so we thought it would be a good idea, and we are partnering with Brooke for that one. And then in May, we'll be having a trauma-informed workshop with also Parents Place in Maryland as well. And then we do have a caregiver retreat that we do every year, and then a sensory train ride that is on the book. So we're just kind of finishing out the year and prepping, so we are excited. And if there are any like feedback to our workshops or our events, or if there's any suggestions for next year that we can also think of, we'd love to also hear that, so that we can also plan for our support groups are more attended and kind of stagnant-ish.
We'll be continuing like our support groups until May. The April morning support group has been canceled because it aligns with spring break, but our evening one was moved to the 14th and it's still at Basil. But we have had, I would say, a good increase in parents who have been attending our support groups. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback from those parents lately. So as we kind of prepare over the summer for the next year, we can kind of take that into account. We've also been encouraging families to complete the MSDE parental survey as well. So we've kind of been sending that out in all the emails that we send out. It's been in our newsletter. And I think we're going to speak to public affairs and see if we can get it posted on the main Facebook page. So that's kind of everything that we have coming. Sorry, one more thing. We also have a meeting planned with the Pediatric Center of Frederick. So we are trying to speak to more like pediatric centers around Frederick and see if we can get our information out there. So we're going to present as to who we are and what we do and what we provide, and give them some of our flyers and our information. So that way, when they're kind of working with their patients, we are a resource that they can suggest if necessary.
That's great.
Now, if you have any questions, we're done.
Any questions for our Partners for Success? Zoe?
Do you have a like flyer or anything for that transition youth that you need to share?
Yeah, it's been circulating around. It's been on our Facebook page. I think we shared it in a couple. We'll get it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Any other questions? Suggestions? You're heading into planning over the summer for what you're focusing on for next year. Is there an opportunity to kind of think about like a parent university type of thing? I know you have the IEP series, but is there something that's kind of like a parent university that based on your grade level and kind of where you're coming in at, or even maybe the disability category to sort of?
That's a good question. We haven't really like organized it in that way. I mean, that is definitely something we can kind of try and set kind of a picture for that. I think next year, one of our goals is to try, well, we're going to start small because it is just the two of us, but we're going to start with Title I schools and kind of doing like a day with the Partners for Success at the Title I feeder patterns, and see if we can get families to come and talk to us, share with us what they need. But I think kind of organizing as like a level needed for families, like where they're coming at what point is a good idea. So that's something we can definitely look into.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I can't take credit for that idea. I'm just passing it along. Do we have another question, Lauren?
just when,
Push the button.
sorry. Just to add on what Jamie said and what you guys are talking about, something they came up with the CCAC fair, resource fair, was also people not realizing early on about putting their names on autism waiver wait lists or DDA, getting that application. And so when you talk to pediatric practices, making sure they tell patients early on, and then maybe as a part of that university type boot camp idea, some people just don't realize, like at birth or right after, that's all got to be done like at the same time, even if you don't know in the future, you know, that you'll need it or not. So we're just trying to come up with ideas to educate families.
That's also great advice, so we'll write that down.
All right, thank you. So we will, any other questions or suggestions?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to an update for the Special Education State Advisory Committee, CSAC, the state version of our local CCAC here. Brooke is not here this evening, but she did ask me to share a quick update, which is that the next CSAC meeting will be on March 25th, and those are virtual. They're usually 10 to noon, and if you want to get on that invite, you just let us know, because we will pass on your contact information to the person who organizes those invites, and then you can have an opportunity to listen in. And it's really valuable because you get to hear from directors in other counties. You also get to hear from other CCAC members across other counties, and just also offer things that might be working here in Frederick County for the benefit of other county CCACs as well. So I've been on, Tara's been on, I think Laura has been on. It's been very valuable to share information across the state. And the other thing that is coming up is the joint CSAC and CCAC meeting, of which all of us are invited to attend. That will be on May 27th. So we will get more information out about that, and it would be really lovely to have a good presence and showing of Frederick County CCAC members, because that is a joint meeting with the state entity, the CSAC. So pencil that in on your calendars if you can, and try to make time to participate. I don't have the time yet, but we'll share that around on the CCAC calendar as soon as we get more information from Brooke. All right, I think that's pretty much it. There's some other things that are linked here for you. There is the, I think these are other documents just from prior meetings. Had we had met, we would have shared that information. But if you want to take a look at the, one of the presentations was the state performance plan for IDEA Part B, so there is information out around. All right, I believe that moves us into our subcommittee reports here. So we are going to get an update regarding the budget, and Jen is not here this evening. So we are in the process of working through the grant closeout process, and that involves CCAC providing a narrative of all of the work that we've been up to over the last year. It also requires us to list the officers and the members once we get to the next school year. So we are at a point where some of your officers' terms are ending, and so we do have to later on in the agenda, we'll open up nominations for officer roles and see if there's any interest, and we'll work to make sure that we have leadership for CCAC as we move forward. But we, according to our bylaws, we have a certain term, and so there are a couple of us whose terms are up as far as the officer roles, and so we'll be looking to sort that out. We do have a couple of our grant categories that we do need to spend down by June 30th, and one of those has to do with some of the printing and just ancillary supplies that we have about 100 or so dollars that we need to spend down to make sure that we fully use our grant. And then we, I believe, satisfied the contractual services category, paying the Chuck Playhart, who was part of the resource fair over this past weekend. So we are on track to spend down our $2,500 that we received through the federal government, and we'll be getting that closeout report. We were not able to meet due to the weather and our normal grant check-in with the Jessicas with SCPS. So we did reschedule that, and we'll be getting that sorted out here in short order. So that is an update in terms of budget, but any comments, questions, or concerns around that? Okay, so I am going to turn it over to Matt to share an update regarding membership.
Thank you, Jamie. Just want to give another huge shout out to Emily for joining us here at CCAC. She comes with plenty of knowledge of adaptive equipment, activities, and recreation with the Frederick community. Again, Emily is with ABLE's Unlimited Program Coordinator Therapeutic Recreation Program. Some facilities she include Norman Street Parkway, TJ Middle, and Butterfly. So congratulations, thank you for being here. Another thing, membership has sent out to current CCAC members on March 4th about reapplying if their term is ending. CCAC membership has asked that if you would like to reapply, please fill out the Google link. If not, please email CCAC to let us know that you are no longer going to seek membership with CCAC. That gives us like a baseline to see where we're at to go from there with the rolling applications, and then from there we can reach out to the Office of Special Ed to post on their social media and go from there to help us get applications if need be. We are going to hopefully redo the CCAC social for membership. Some dates that we were talking about that we still have to run by the committee is possibly May 1st or May 22nd, as that kind of aligns with teachers and we get out a little early and so forth. So that's pretty much with membership right now.
Excellent. And if you are not sure when your membership expires, if you are filling a partial term or you're filling a full term, you can check in with Secretary O'Neill and she can help you understand when your term ends. We have tried to include that in communications as we've sent that off to folks. And it also is posted on our website under the membership section. You can see what your term is there as well.
I also have everybody highlighted if they have a question.
Yeah, and I'm sure the membership subcommittee members also can help you with this, but the official record, or I should say, and the official record is kept by Secretary O'Neill. So we do know that at least one member is not continuing with CCAC, Mr. Drew Nagel, and so that will be a vacancy that the subcommittee will look to fill. All right, so let's move on, and thank you, Matt, for those updates. We'll move on to the events subcommittee. Sukumana.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So we just completed our one huge event, resource fair, and huge shout out to everyone who showed up and helped out. So thank you. Moving on to the next event, which is scheduled for May 12th. We have the location of TJ High School. It'll start at 6 p.m. It's Champions of Special Education. We're working on details, working on a flyer. We do have a form ready. We do have a QR code. We have everything else. So another round of Spanish translation to Mr. Troy. So hopefully that's get done, and then we're working on flyers. So look out for more information on that. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is a really exciting thing that we're trying to get off the ground this year. It's an event to recognize champions of special education. So other counties do this already and have done this for a while. And it's really important for us to take a moment and to celebrate what is going well and the folks who are supporting students with disabilities. And this could be a community member, it could be a student. So I would love for our student members to help get the word out about this as well. Or it could be an educator or a staff member or a bus driver. It could be anyone who is helping to champion the support and services and the well-being and the outcomes for our students with disabilities. Secretary O'Neill.
Just a quick question for Sukumana. Would you like a formal invitation to go out from the CCAC calendar to all members as well?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Andrea.
How do you nominate? Did I miss that part?
Go ahead.
Yes. So nominations can be done by the parent, guardian, student, or community member. So anybody else can nominate except the staff members.
And it'll be a Google form that's gonna be going out. We will do a press release, we will do a media advisory, we're holding it at Governor Thomas Johnson. So once we get the form translated again through Spanish, we'll get that pushed out to everybody so that you can submit a nomination.
Thanks. I know it's been a while. I thought maybe I missed something.
No, we haven't rolled out the form yet, so
Okay.
we're still waiting on that. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Zoe?
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of that. You said staff can't nominate.
Yeah, so it's just, technically they come in community members, but we're looking for parents, guardians, student or community, the other members, just to be fair to everyone.
Well, I do think that's something we should probably talk a little bit more about.
Yes.
Because I don't think we want to restrict staff from, recognizing their colleagues or their peers who are champions. So, I think we should.
They kind of fall into community members, I would say. Do you want to specify staff in there? Because I haven't right now.
It's okay, we can take that offline, but I do think it's valid feedback from somebody who is a staff member.
I would like to nominate other board members. If not, I can,
My preference as the chair and what I would recommend to the subcommittee is that we allow anyone to nominate these different categories and that there's a process that is equitable to make a selection for who is recognized.
So do you want us to, I would not write staff in there, but they do fall into community members is what I was thinking. Do you want me to add staff in there? Is that what?
I think anybody should be able to nominate a special education champion.
Except
I would just highlight, if we send it out, because we send it to staff, they may not pick up on that piece, so you're gonna get nominations from staff.
The self-nomination is a good point that Lauren pointed out. She said not do self-nominations, I guess.
That's the difference. Right.
Yeah. So some of the forms do say
Yeah,
that.
let's take that offline. I don't want to restrict people from being able to nominate. I mean, the point is to celebrate whoever is a champion. And you might be a staff member, you might be somebody in the community, you could be a grandparent, right? Like, we all are coming together as a community and we all have different perspectives. And so I want to make sure that anybody that wants to say, hey, somebody's doing a really great job supporting students with disabilities, that we allow them to do that.
Do we want to add staff in there as well?
Let's just decide offline. Let's not decide that here, and we'll move forward. Okay, thank you. All right, any other comments, questions for this subcommittee? All right, communications.
Okay, so we have been primarily over the last few weeks focusing on promoting the resource fair. Thank you, Matt. And we've also been doing the interview series, so we've already shared out several of those, and we've got a couple more that have been completed and are ready to share out now that the resource fair is done. So that's been our primary focus, and now with this event coming up as well, we're excited to get on board to help promote that as soon as we get those details ironed out.
Thank you, Sarah. And I do want to just give a shout out for the good engagement around, the voices of the folks that we're trying to highlight in the community. And so that's been really great. And thank you, Dr. Wingman, for being one of those folks that we could highlight. And we were able also to highlight Dr. Dyson as well. And I know we've got a lot of other folks that are a great lineup to just recognize all the people that are doing good work within this community that supports our students with disabilities. So, okay, any updates from our ad hoc student voices subcommittee, Zoe?
We're just continuing on. We're really focusing on the IEP questionnaire, and our goal is to have that done by the end of this term so we can roll that out as early next year as possible.
When does the end of the term occur?
June.
June, okay. Okay. And then what do we expect to do with that afterwards?
Ideally, we would have that available to all of the students. So obviously at our level in the elementary school, that would include talking to the case managers and the parents to help the student figure that out and tell us what they like and don't like and those types of things. And then at higher levels, they might be able to fill that out on their own, depending on their ability. And then another part of that is the ending, where we were talking about the conclusion of the IEP meeting and giving the student updates on what was going to happen next, so that they're aware of any changes that are being made as soon as possible.
Okay, and I know Director Buckley is a little busy right now, but I was curious if we had at one point talked about collaborating and.
Yeah, Katie and I meet.
So all of that is working with, okay. Okay. Moving on to our ad hoc around the Legislative and Policy Subcommittee. Ms. O'Neill, would you like to share updates?
I would. Is that okay? Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. I'm having trouble with the assisted listening device. It's creating a lot of echo for me. But, so let me just unplug that. So last month we sent out the impact survey. You all should have received it in your email. We're going to keep that open until the end of the school year. Again, just as a reminder, it's kind of a survey for us to take stock of the changes that are happening here at home based on what's happening at the federal government, the different cuts that are being made, and how that might impact us here in Frederick. So if you filled it out, thank you so much. If something comes up and you want to fill it out again, please feel free. I think that it's important for us to just keep an eye on what's happening here on the ground.
All right, thank you. I was going to respectfully request that you please update with regards to the legislation in Annapolis with cameras in self-contained classrooms. What I wanted to bring up was an email that went out with regards to CCAC issuing emails and letters of advocacy regarding the proposed $150 million cost containment to DVA and lists. I'm grateful that everyone voted, for the most part, to pass this motion along in order to do that. I have to say with a heavy heart, regarding the governor's proposed $150 million cost containment, we have been unable to send these letters out on the originally intended date. Notably, the committee's virtual vote reflected that it was ready to act in advance of March 20th. However, CCAC executive officers were engaged in Annapolis advocating for local legislation for the cameras, which presented competing demands on both time and attention. So therefore, I would like to move that CCAC determine whether to take no further action and acknowledge the missed opportunity, or to proceed with using a revised motion and accompanying email.
So there's a motion to.
I move to motion to either acknowledge we missed the opportunity and not go forward, or correct it, put a new letter in front, and we have the opportunity to still send a corrected letter for cost containment. The governor does not approve the budget until April, and even though they brought down the $150 million to $127 million, we could still advocate that no more cuts be made. So I make a motion that we either forget about it or we send a revised letter.
Those are two different decisions, so I would suggest if we need to revise the letter that you make, we already voted to send the letter, right?
We did, but there's been modifications that have to be made to the
Okay,
letter.
we need to revise the letter given what's changed in the state landscape, is that what I'm understanding?
That is what you are understanding.
Okay, so I would recommend your motion reflect an update to the letter in order to proceed with issuing that advocacy at the state level.
As the chair stated.
Is there a second? Second by Lauren, and any discussion? Does everybody understand what might need to be revised? Do we have questions about that? Any additional? comments? Okay, seeing none, there's a motion on the floor to revise the letter to advocate for DDA funding with the state government, including the governor and other relevant entities, and revising that to reflect the current political landscape. And there was a second by Lauren, and all those in favor, please raise your hand.
Double check. Nineteen.
19 in favor, any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you, Laura.
I will be sending out the draft just so you guys can see the language, and if any comments necessary, that should be coming out within the next day or so. So thank you all for your patience and understanding.
Okay, I believe Ms. O'Neill has asked me to share an update regarding HB 1545. So this is the state legislation for Frederick County. It is a local bill called the Special Education Video and Audio Recording Program and the establishment of that. So Delegate Miller sponsored this bill, and there has been a concerted effort by multiple folks to advance this cause at the state level. And the latest information that I have about this is that Delegate Miller, Laura and I were both there when the bill was heard before the Ways and Means Committee. Sometime within the last couple of weeks, I've sort of lost track of all time at this point because everything is moving so quickly as it does during the 90-day session. And what I've learned is that at this point, the bill did not make it out of the Ways and Means Committee. So one of the challenges when that bill was presented is that the Frederick County delegation hadn't taken a position on the most recent amended bill that Delegate Miller was putting forward. But since that Ways and Means Committee meeting, when the bill was first heard in front of that committee, the Frederick County delegation this past Thursday did vote on the amendments, and there was a letter of support from the delegation issued. So Delegate Chris Fair was instrumental in helping get some of the District 3 delegation to support this cause that Delegate Miller was championing. So I want to acknowledge both of them for their advocacy around this issue at the state level. I think from CCAC's perspective, we find the landscape locally very uncertain, and we're not sure where this is going to go, and that's what we've heard, and that is what has been expressed within the community, outside of CCAC, and within CCAC as members. And just for the record, a reminder that we voted to support the implementation of cameras in classrooms wherever special education support services and instruction are provided. And so Delegate Miller was trying to champion this as a local bill at the state level, and it was focused on self-contained classrooms. And so far, today is the crossover day. There is still a slight chance that something could happen, but this bill was introduced pretty late in the session, and so that does make it difficult for it to move forward. If and when there are updates around this, we'll be sure to share it with the committee, but I do want to acknowledge Delegate Fair and Delegate Miller for their support. And also, Senator Fulton did introduce a Senate bill that was different than this bill, and so he did try to take up this cause as well. And I think it's really important to give credit where credit is due, that our state legislators were trying to take this issue on at the state level. Any questions, comments, concerns? Points of clarification from anyone that has been working on this? Welcome. Okay. Anything else from the Legislative and Policy Subcommittee? There are a whole host of other special education bills that have been working through the Maryland General Assembly, and we do have a tracker looking at the status of a lot of those bills. I did provide some in-person testimony for a camera bill that was specialized to buses because there was a Howard County incident, and then of course there was an incident in California where without footage on a bus, they wouldn't have known that a non-speaking or nonverbal student had been sexually assaulted. So, these are issues that continue, and we know that non-speaking, nonverbal, or students with disabilities are targeted more for these kinds of things. The statistics are out there, and so there are lots of other avenues that this kind of topic is trying to be addressed as well. So, with that, we will move on to the Board of Education ad hoc subcommittee. So I think Secretary O'Neill has drafted some potential revisions to the questionnaire. So we're intending to have a meeting on that. We do have a date and space secured at Hood College in Whitaker Campus Commons to host a candidate forum. And so we're hopefully going to be meeting, I think, on the 26th, maybe early in the morning. I'm looking at Chris because he's helping with this. And then Jen Wheat agreed to be the moderator of that event. So Jen will moderate. We will invite all of the candidates to a forum, anybody that's running for the Board of Education. And the date is escaping me. I don't know if Laura can look that up quickly, but we do have a date and location at Hood College for this. And then we'll be putting out the questionnaire relatively quickly, as soon as we can finalize any revisions to those questions so that candidates can respond as they did in the last election cycle. And this is the second time that CCAC has done this, so we are certainly open to any feedback. Secretary O'Neill.
Just to clarify, it is May 7th, that is a Thursday at 7 o'clock. It will be held at Hood College in the Whitaker Campus Commons.
Thank you, May 7th. Zoe.
I was just gonna say that in case she didn't.
Okay.
I already had it up.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, and I think that is it for those updates. There's no updates in terms of bylaws unless anyone has an interest in recommending any bylaws changes. We can certainly entertain those. We do have a 30-day, I believe, window if you intend to introduce any bylaw changes before the end of the school year. All right. Moving on. Any unfinished business since our last meeting? I don't believe we have any. And new business. I think we had one topic here related to the Ethan Saylor Autism Society Baltimore Chesapeake First Responder Communication Facilitator item. Oh, Allison was the one that had asked for that to be on our agenda, and she is not here this evening, so we will table that for a future CCAC meeting.
She's running late anytime now.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, and so I'm going to turn it over to Vice Chair Capps to talk to us a little bit about the bylaw requirements in terms of officer nominations.
Okay. Alright, so reviewing the bylaws so everyone understands the election process per the bylaws for Frederick County CCAC. During the months of March and April, at the committee meetings, nominations are taken from the floor. Anyone on the floor may nominate for anyone for an officer position, or you may self-nominate. In May, at the May meeting, the election of officers occurs. It is through a show of hand. Majority of members must be present, and the election is based on a simple majority vote. So that means tonight and next month in April, any nominations may be made. I'll give you, for example, I could say, I would like to nominate Zoe for this position. Zoe would have to accept the nomination to then be eligible as part of the election. Or Zoe could say, I, Zoe, would like to nominate myself for X position. That can happen tonight, it can happen in April, then in May, based on who's been nominated, a slate would be read for for each position that was being vacated, and we would vote on it just like we do with the show of hands when we have a motion on the floor. Does that make sense to everyone? Any questions? Did I do a good job? Awesome.
It was very
It can be
clear.
very overwhelming. Oh,
Thank
and
you, Chair.
all officers hold a 2-year term. So once you're in for 2 years unless you resign from that position or from the committee.
Yes, and the way that the bylaws are also read is that the chair and the vice chair are supposed to alternate their terms.
However, because of how things worked out with someone vacating a position and a partial term being filled, and then another person being elected, Jamie and I's terms ended at the exact same time. So there's a hitch in the giddy up, and we'll have to see how it plays out.
So we do have 4 officer positions. You have the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, and the treasurer. Are there any nominations for any of these officer positions that can be brought forward this evening? If someone would like to make a nomination for secretary, please do.
I wanted to double check. I believe Laura's term is not ending. Correct?
Secretary it is.
Secretary is, just double check. I believe I would like to nominate Chris Griffin for treasurer.
I'll accept.
Wonderful.
And we do know that Jen Wade does not intend to continue on as the treasurer, so I'm sure she'll be delighted. Though she has done a tremendous job sorting out all the ins and outs of our grant over the last year with Tara's help, and it's been really great.
Chris has been shadowing her all year,
Yes.
so.
Chris has been shadowing and trying to kind of
We're
get
not
up
gonna
to speed.
throw out a little.
Are there any other nominations?
I can't hear you. All right.
I have a question.
Zoe.
Somebody has a question.
Oh.
Never mind, there's a question.
Dr. Amy.
Dr. Amy.
Don't call me that, that's weird.
It's all Tara's fault.
Can a current executive member be nominated for a different position?
They could, yes. There's no restrictions on that in our bylaws.
So don't be mad. Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't do it this month. Don't do it this month.
Okay.
I think about it.
Zoe.
Are we allowed to know intent of current chair members?
Sure.
Is there intent of current chair members?
I think given other things that I have going on, the responsible thing for me to do is to step down as chair. Although I do intend to continue to fulfill my term, which ends in 2027. As a member. As a voting member, but not as the chair.
Does the vice chair have intent?
I'm still considering.
Part B.
Yeah, I'm still considering if I want to stay in a leadership role, and which leadership role I'd be comfortable in, given my life.
I nominate Zoe for chair.
I will accept the nomination. But that does not say that one should nominate. Please, other people nominate. Self-nominate, whatever you want to do.
And to jump in on the intent, if CCAG members will have me, I would like to remain secretary.
If needed, I would like to nominate Laura as secretary. That needs to be like definitive.
Alex.
Okay, we have nominations of Chris Griffin for treasurer. We have a nomination for secretary of Laura O'Neill. We are not sure on the vice chair role, and a nomination of Zoe Howa for chair.
Okay. I would like to nominate Matt as vice chair.
I accept.
All right. So we have nominations for all of the officer roles, and that's not to say that others cannot be nominated. We can have a contested election, and that's always a healthy thing. So we will have the April meeting if other nominations are of interest, where we can take that up, and then we will vote in May to see who the new CCAP leadership is. And I will just say that I hope that, Tara and I have worked to build close collaboration with the directors and Dr. Bingman, and we meet on a monthly basis, and we also do a lot of things that you all don't know about. So if you want to know more about all of these roles and the time that we put in as you consider them, we're more than happy to talk to you and help you understand what we've been up to, and I'm sure the new leaders that may take over after us will have their own ideas as well. So thank you all for being willing to step up and continue on and lead CCAC forward.
Regarding intent, I do intend to return as a member. If you'll have me, if I'm willing to be an officer, that's on the table.
Yes.
Thank you for the clarification.
All right, so let's move on to member voices. As part of our CCAC monthly meetings, we do want to make sure that we have an opportunity for folks to share their different perspectives that are represented on CCAC. So let's hear from any parent members that might be willing to share anything that is for the benefit of the group, shout outs, systemic pain points you might be seeing out there. What are on the minds of our parent members? Go ahead, Claudia.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Just wanted to share that happy to help on the resource fair. And then I saw a great turnout for Hispanic families coming. So it was good that I was on the main table, registry table, to kind of help them go through. There was a person that didn't speak maybe half Spanish, English, first time attending, and she asked if vendors there at the table spoke Spanish. So I told her, come and get me and I'll help you. But just to think forward or moving forward on the next one, maybe having, I don't know if that's too much to ask, but having, that resource there for people that,
we have talked
because it's complicated terms, I think, or it's hard to express themselves or what they're looking for, so I wanted to raise.
Yeah, let's hear from Director Keller.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. It's just when people, it's really the whole intent of RSVP. And if you RSVP and you let us know that you need an interpreter, then we can take care of that. But because, I don't know if we had accommodations on the RSVP.
We did the same thing as last year, but nobody requested anything. That's what I was gonna say, is that last year we started an RSVP specifically for accommodations. It's a very small RSVP rate, but that's something we could work directly with the multilingual person in communications with FCPS to get the word out. Through the FCPS Spanish media. I think we could put that on our list for next year. And then last year we had a translator on site for I think we had one family that asked for it, but we could look at how we could afford to do that. Just have someone there.
That's good feedback. Thank you for sharing that. Zoe.
I would just like to add that we did have a parent from the ASL community as well at the fair, so it might be helpful to have a translator in that aspect as well.
Thank you. I think that's great feedback. And hopefully we can grow the attendance of those communities as well. Isa.
I just wanted to share, I got an email the other day from one of the coordinators at Crawfordsville Middle School, and I think a lot of the families were confused where it was at. I think they thought that it was at Rogersville Middle School because of the overflow parking. So I just wanted to share that there were a lot of families going to the middle school. And she just had to email me that after the fact, so.
I'd say probably next year with the 60-plus vendors, they should not take up the spaces out in front of Rock Creek, and they should park elsewhere, because it made it look like a whole bunch of people were there, but those were all the vendor cars. So, and then that takes away, you know, the accessibility of the event for the people that are attending, so that's probably something to think about next year.
They were, just to put it out there, they were asked to do that and told to do that multiple times and just didn't move. For that reason.
Any other parent comments? Lauren?
I just wanted to say, like, my first time attending the resource fair, it made me so proud to be a part of this group. It was so inspiring. I know I chair an event that I struggle to get 5 vendor community resource tables at, and that down in Rockville and Montgomery County. So to see that in Frederick, like, literally brought me to tears. It was really cool. And to be at the CCAC table and have such really meaningful conversations with families and really feel like we helped people that day and could show them where to go or, you know, how to get involved was awesome. And I just think it should be commended. It's an impactful group, and the things that we're doing are awesome for this community.
Thank you. That's lovely. Amy?
Yeah, I think we had 64 vendors sign up, but we ended up with about 70 that day. So we were scrambling to put extra tables up, which we were happy to do.
Thank you. I love those data points. You have a parent comment?
Sure, I just wanted to thank everyone. I know Jamie thanked everyone at the beginning, but it really is a group effort. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes the entire school year to make what happened on Saturday happen. And whether you were present at the event or not, every member of this around this table and lots of other folks that supported us through staff and students within FCPS is what makes that day possible. We had our very first student volunteer from TJ High. She was amazing. And we had lots of staff that really came in and just did whatever we needed. I just wanted to acknowledge that it's a real team effort. I also wanted to say that for myself, I've gone to the resource fair a lot. And this year I still found things that I didn't know about and took home resources, and my children did the same thing. So even if you've been going for a long time, there's always something new for you there, which is wonderful to see as a parent, not just as a committee member.
Yeah, and I do think it's important to give a shout out to Jamie, the Rock Creek principal, and then Erin, who was there the night before and all day, and then does all the cleanup. I mean, just they are both tremendous partners with us for this event. Any other parent voices? Community members? Amy?
Thank you. At another meeting, I think it was last school year, I shared our concern at Hood College about the low numbers of teacher candidates in our introductory classes, and especially those who were interested in special education. And that has changed this year, where we've had pretty high numbers in our introductory class, and the introductory class that I'm teaching this semester, so many of our students are telling me that they want to do special ed, that that's their passion, and that's what they want to do. And honestly, this is the first semester I've heard that of more than maybe one student. So that is really good news that I wanted to share.
Thank you. That is wonderful. What's changed, if anything? Okay. All right. I think cycle. Thank you for sharing that update, Amy. Yes, I see Rania. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I am struggling, sorry. Okay. Last month, I attended my very first National Federation of the Blind of Maryland convention, and it really reiterated the importance of Braille literacy skills. Often, blinding diseases worsen with age, so you can educate the child with large print, but if they're not educated with Braille skills, they're really going to be missing that vital, critical skill throughout their life. And I am a classic example of that because I am functionally Braille illiterate. I did not learn it when I was young, when I should have, and it really does hold me back. I started learning it in 2019, but as an adult with three children, life got in the way. I will be starting Braille lessons again at the end of this month, so I'm hoping to be able to become more literate with Braille. But the National Federation of the Blind of Maryland has a saying, and I quote, "If you won't educate them, we will." And so they offer resources for blind students. They offer the Bell Academy, which is their Braille literacy program for students. They offer STEM to You, they offer mentoring, they offer scholarships. They have a Parents of Blind Children division, as well as workshops and activities all throughout the year. So if you know of any low vision or blind students, I would be more than happy to pass along any information that I can, because again, from my own experience and from hearing all the voices of the other blind people at the convention, Braille literacy skills is a vital skill that we need.
Thank you, Rania. That's super helpful. Emily.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me and thank you for inviting me to be on this committee. I just want to share a little bit about Frederick City Parks and Rec. So I'm the Abilities Unlimited Coordinator for Adaptive and Inclusive Programming. So all of my programming is based off what you want as the parent and what the kid wants to see. So I can write as many programs as you think, but they're not going to run if you or your child don't want to come to them. So I really rely heavily on the community of what programs do you want to see, what times do you want to see, what kind of staff ratio do you want to see, because I can go from a 6-to-1 staff ratio to 1-on-1 staff ratio. And we also try to include all their siblings. So in the programming to give them a very well process to kind of see. So one big thing we do in the city is we have 4 sport wheelchairs. So we got a grant and we have our participants, they transfer over to the sports chairs, and we have their siblings get in their everyday chairs and say, come play a game of basketball. Let's see how it goes. And by the end of this session, they're like, I understand why you get mad at me when you say I can't do that. And we've started to actually take our chairs out into the community to have our different programs do it, just to give all the kids an opportunity to kind of open their eyes. We had one kid go, oh, so my friend can come play on the playground with me, even though they're in a wheelchair? And I'm like, of course. So we have all these resources, and as the City Parks and Rec, we want to help. So if there's something you want to see or something you want program-wise that you're not seeing, let us know how we can make that happen or what you want, and we will try our best to make it happen.
You had mentioned something about a new center that was opening. Can you share about that?
Yes, so coming, I believe, in 2028 or so, we're getting Westside Community Center right up by Butterfly Ridge. It's going to be across from Sophia Madigan's playground, which is one of our playgrounds. We're also getting brand new athletic fields put in there, as well. Those just broke ground recently, I believe. But that's going to be a fully accessible compared to our center right now, which is Tally Rec Center, the old armory. We only can do so much in the old building. We get in trouble by the Historical Society sometimes. So the new building, completely accessible. We'll have a full accessible bathroom. All the bathrooms will be accessible, but this one will be big enough for an adult changing station to be put in there. As well as we are trying to get the toilet put in the center of the room, so you can have pull-down bars. So if you have left-sided weakness, you have a right pull-down bar, vice versa. As well as we're getting a whole sensory room put in. So it's gonna look like a barn from the outside, and there's gonna be a silo, and that silo is a sensory room. So I get to design it the way we want. So if there's certain inputs you guys wanna give me of what you wanna see in it, let me know, because it's all about the community. How can we make this happen and expand these programs?
Amazing.
That is amazing. Okay. Any other, I think that's all of our community members who are here. Students.
something that me and I were planning on doing is for the cameras in the classroom bill, we were going to do advocacy cards in our school where during club days for Student Government Association and various other clubs, we're going to have like students sign advocacy cards to educate them and get their support, and that's something that we did last year too with the environmental bill, and it was pretty successful, so we thought that would be something we could introduce this year as well. Additionally, we wanted to share that we also attended the resource fair, and we were really happy with the outcome. We attended last year for our first time, and even just comparing it to last year, like we had so many people come to our table, and like we got to, I guess, like give so many more people like resources and connect them to our organization. As well as I also like went to the CCAC fair for a while, CCAC table for a while, and that was also amazing getting to talk to people and like tell them more about CCAC, and that was a great experience. Yeah.
And remind everybody what your foundation is.
Oh yeah, our foundation is the Ray Foundation, Resources and Awareness for Youth. Yeah.
Thank you, Amy and Tommy. All right, staff. Zoe.
Okay, well, my first one is that I would like to give the staff overall a shout out because, as you all know, we had a shelter in place last week, and as many drills as we do, it's different in real life when it happens, but I've heard from several staff from several buildings that everybody felt that it went really well, the kids did a great job, the staff stayed calm, and that everything went well in that regard. So. Would we like to have another one? Not really. We're glad to know that all the drills and things were useful and that everybody ended up being okay in that situation. And then my other question is for Jamie, and you can let me know if this is appropriate at this time or not. But I do have some staff feedback on cameras in the classroom. I don't know if this is appropriate. Okay.
It's up to you.
All right, so I've been talking to some staff about cameras in the classroom for them that are actually in the room with the cameras, just to see how things are going, to see if they have any feedback or any concerns, questions, things that they like, things that they don't like. One of the things that they were talking about is that the cameras right now are in the middle of the or in the middle of the room, so there are cameras pointing towards the bathrooms. This is a little bit of a concern for the staff because oftentimes students go to the bathroom and don't close the door, or come out and let us know that they need help and are still not fully dressed. So that was the concern that they had. They were curious if there was a way to move the cameras so that they were not pointed in that direction to give the students that privacy. They still have some unsettled feelings about whether or not they're being watched or whether it's being a way for them to tell that they're doing something wrong. So that's something that admin is working on to create that trust. Staff were unaware if the parents had requested any of the videos, so we're not sure if the answer was 0 or if we just haven't had that communication. So I think it would be helpful if that communication was transparent. Again, that would help with like the trust. And then another area that the staff was interested in was the sensory room is often used as an area for students to go who are in a heightened state or need like a calm down. So the staff felt that it would be beneficial to put a camera in that room so that if any situations were to occur or if an adult may be injured in that area, there would be a camera present to record the documentation.
I'll start and then I can pass it over. As far as the camera, it's a 360, so it basically is in the center of the room so that it can see the entire room. And so it would be difficult for it not to see the bathroom area. Based on the fact that it's included in the center. And with regard to the staff being worried about whether they're being watched, the regulation that has been published clearly outlines the purpose and the review of cameras and all of the expectations. And so that is something that, because it's new, we are continuing to work with the schools and the school staff and to be able to kind of help to support with the implementation of the regulation. And so thank you for sharing that. Certainly is good information for us to have. And then as far as the sensory room, that's good feedback, something we can consider.
And I would just add that, all the data that is being requested will be shared at the presentation to the Board of Education. And then there was an MOU signed by all of our associations that kind of outlines the use of cameras, which is a little bit different than how administrators access cameras right now.
And, I think the intent of the regulations is to ensure that this is not used for surveillance, and so with any new policy, process, procedure, right, you want to make sure that everybody understands what those guardrails are, and then it becomes a matter of making sure that, that those are followed, and I think that's what the intent is.
We just did a midpoint check-in, and we sent out a survey to the staff to gather their feedback and to find out if there are concerns, and so we actually are going to be reviewing that coming soon, and then as well, we sent out an email to the families and asked if there was any feedback from their perspective. And so we're reviewing that midpoint feedback as we continue, and again, as Mr. Keller indicated, there will be a June presentation. Dr. Sergo and myself will be presenting in June, and we'll give a comprehensive update on the pilot and the results, as well as a summary of the survey, and then be able to share that with the board and be able to move forward.
Thank you. Any other staff comments? Suvana.
I just want to thank the special ed team for Ed Plan, because I know when we started with MOIEP, people kept saying, do not go copy from Active, or just do not forget to copy from Active because you're going to lose all your data. So this looks awesome, and I know all the new people who are coming in and using it. It's so user-friendly, it's so easy to learn. Parents are loving it. They just can access anything. We just send them a talking point message and remind them, and they just get the document. So it's just wonderful. Definitely learning from MOIEP and then going from there to that. Oh my gosh, and it's so easy to mentor people. Like they walk in there, you can make changes, recommend an IEP. So it's pretty good. Thank you for doing that. And taking away the meeting notes for sure. That's just what, I know a ton of people, their parents definitely wanted the meeting notes, but I think provided notice takes care of that. You can have it more descriptive versus just one-liners, so it's up to you. But I think that was taking away from the IEP, so thank you for that as well.
Thank you, Suvana. I see Matt.
This was a couple weeks ago, but I just want to shout out, thank you, Dr. Bigman, for coming to visit and specifically coming to my classroom. My kids really appreciate getting all the different community and people from central office, so thank you. And I do want to echo, I do actually enjoy Ed Plan too. It's very user-friendly, and we do have a lot of new staff, so to get them up to par and to show them the different tiles and to proceed through it, it's really helpful. So thank you.
Yay. Any other comments from staff? Mary Kate.
I would like to share some information about some upcoming secondary transition events. So on April 14th at 11 o'clock, we're going to do a virtual Maryland Assistive Technology program. So that someone will be presenting on that. We have a DDA application night scheduled for Thursday, April 23rd. And we are going to have a Social Security Lunch and Learn webinar on Wednesday, May 20th, and begins at 12. So that's virtual, and I'll be sending the information out. And don't forget that we do have the Transition Youth Council Fair on Saturday at the fairgrounds. It begins at 10 o'clock.
Thank you, and I am certain you're going to get that over to our communications subcommittee so they can help publicize that, because those will be very valuable to a lot of people, especially given transition coming up over our listening sessions that we held last summer. So that continues to be a true need, and I know there's been a lot of great work, so thank you for your leadership. Anything else from staff, students, community members, parents? I forgot something. Tara.
I forgot something because we haven't been together in so long. I just wanted to let everyone know that we invited the ARC of Maryland out to Valley Elementary School to do the Together We're Better program. I had went and watched some of the sessions when they were at Urbana Elementary School, and it was awesome. I spent my entire day with the ladies from the ARC. And our kids really liked it. It was really engaging and focused the time on what was right for each age level. So my pre-K had a completely different presentation than my second grader. So, and all of the kids that have seen me were like, that was so cool. We got to meet someone new. And third graders played assistive technology bingo, and they thought it was awesome. And a lot of the kids that have seen me at the school since were really positive about that experience, and the teachers seem to like it as well. So if any of you are in your schools or looking for assemblies, or if staff are looking for things to suggest, the ARC of Maryland, they ask for a donation, and they do everything. They send curriculum, stuff for teachers to receive before the presentation, so teachers know what's expected, and they do an after survey, and it's just, I think it was more impactful than any huge assembly that our kids have had all year.
And that is a CCAT recommendation. We would love to see that more systemically throughout the system, and that was Lauren's suggestion that we took forward. Go ahead, Lauren.
I would just say one thing. We are begging for that to be countywide because I have been at a school personally now for a very long time, and we begged our school to do this free assembly, and we weren't able to get the administration to agree to it or find a time or schedule it, reschedule. It still has not happened. And my daughter graduates from that school. And so now it'll only happen for her younger sibling if it can be put into place. But it's such an amazing program, and it's awesome that we have it in the county and we could be using it at all of our Frederick County schools.
Our PTA paid for it because it doesn't cost much.
I do want to share that we have heard you, and we sent what we call a wrap-up statement to our administrators, like with the contact information and giving them information about that presentation to encourage them, and that was just done towards the end of February. So hopefully we will see more of our schools taking advantage of that, but we did hear you, and we have already initiated that.
Awesome. So everybody go back and remind them that they received that in their special education wrap-up, and it was highly encouraged by the central office leadership.
And if you go back to director comments, there's the CCAC progress chart. That's a link, and it's actually included on there under your first item that you presented to the board, and it says February 2026. So if you would like to screen clip that and send it, feel free.
Yeah, thank you. It's a good tip. Go ahead, Dr.
Certainly, if you need to, drop our names, have them contact us. We will certainly do what we can to help them to be able to organize it and have it. I will say when I was a principal, I did have them come, and it was a powerful opportunity for our students. So I support it as well.
Okay, wonderful. See the power of community and connecting those dots. Okay, so we are going to move. Oh, did you have one last thing, Amy?
If you don't mind, is it time for me to say
Please.
something really quick? Sarah reminded me when she brought up the ARC. I'm the director of service learning at Hood College, and one of my teachers that has a service learning class is partnering with ARC. And so these are non-declared first-year students. They don't have their major declared yet, and they're spending 12 hours. Each student is spending 12 hours a semester providing service at the ARC. And I'm really hoping it leads to some people deciding to go into special education.
Yeah, that's great, and that just triggered something that I forgot because we haven't been here for 2 months, but I did meet with Corbin with the CTC, and so, those apprenticeships and, alternative pathways, and they are looking for a voice from CCAC to be part of their committee, their work group, but that perspective of students with disabilities is something that they want to bring into those conversations and have that perspective represented. So I think don't quote me on this date, I feel like it's like April 30th or something. It's coming up, but I'm going to go and sit in and listen in and kind of learn more about it. But they are looking for a CCAC kind of person to provide perspective for CTC. And there is, one certain pathway that students with disabilities tend to kind of fall into, and I think there's a sense that you could probably diversify the opportunities and the options, and especially with transition. Go ahead, Mary Kate.
I was just going to share, I meet with them quarterly, so
you could satisfy that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Always looking for efficiencies. That's great. Okay. So with that, we will move on to public comment. So I do think we have one person here, Ryan Forth. You can go ahead and come up, and we do have, I don't have the public comment statement that I'm supposed to be reading, but it is a 2-minute public comment that you can share with us. 2 minutes, yes.
How can I?
And you can go right up here to the podium and over to you whenever you are ready.
All right, thank you all so much. My name is Ryan Foray. I'm a special educator. I'm in my 11th year actually in Montgomery County. And the reason I've gotten to speak at a couple of Board of Education meetings about the need for tracking accommodations in the classroom. I feel like we do a good job in the IEP of noting what the accommodations are, but actually keeping track of what's happening in the classroom. I'd like to say that the leadership, specifically Ms. Buckley, was kind enough to meet with me and address this and explore possible tools for making accommodation tracking more realistic. So thank you very much, Ms. Buckley. I'd like to use the rest of my time to elevate special education legislation brought to my attention by Ms. O'Neill. It's called SHFRA's Act. It's HB 1368. This act is being sponsored by State Delegate Sandy Rosenberg. And with this act, parents will need to receive written notice when certain special education or related service aids, like accommodations, for example, in the IEP are missed, incomplete, or interrupted as specified in the IEP. This is going through the Maryland General Assembly right now. It's in the works, but it's set to possibly take effect July 1st, 2026. So I think it's something we should all be aware of, and to ask ourselves, why is legislation like this, why do we feel like it's necessary, and why is it being voted on right now? That's everything. Thank you again so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time and your public comment. We really appreciate you being here. I know you've tried a couple of times at our meetings
yeah,
to
2 months.
cancel. So appreciate your persistence. Okay, and with that, I will share that our next meeting guest speaker, we will have Jade Gingrich, I believe, with the Office of Disability Employment Advancement and Policy. And that is going to be on April 20th, 6 to 8, back here in the Board of Education boardroom. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn if there is no further business. That was a 2-minute timer. Is there a motion to adjourn at 7:31?
Motion to adjourn.
Matt moved to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none, we are adjourned at 7:32. Thank you all so much. See you on April 20th.